Oh, the pollen is sky high here at the offshoreinsiders.com international headquarters in Atlanta. So hopefully I'll be able to get through this podcast without, coughing or sneezing or what have you. Hello, folks. I'm Grandmaster Handicapper Joe Duffy, CEO of offshoreinsiders.com, the top sports betting site in the universe. And we're going to take a preview at the NBA playoffs, take a look at some of the odds as well as which teams have the best record coming off of a straight-up win and a straight-up loss, and the worst record, or, depending on which way you want to look at it, the best teams to fade under those circumstances. Now, the Miami Heat are the favorites to win the NBA championships, and we frankly agree with that. They've got the most talent. I think they will put it together in the postseason. They're 275 favorites, plus 275. Lakers, defending world champions, at 300, and Chicago Bulls at plus 400. Now, you want the complete rundown, go to joeduffy.net, or you can also go to offshoreinsiders.com, where we've got the futures posted. One of the more intriguing things, although, as we said, the Heat are favored to win it all, ironically, the series prices, which are also at offshoreinsiders.com, but the Chicago Bulls are the biggest favorite to win their opening series by minus 5,000, with the Miami Heat only minus 2,500. But again, that kind of makes sense, too, because Miami Heat are one of those teams that we love and the squares hate. We call them box of chocolate teams, or predictably unpredictable, where they can look like, the best team in the NBA far and away one game and then look like a mediocre team the next game. So I can see how the Heat are both the favorites, but not necessarily the heaviest favorites to win their opening round. But the Bulls are minus 5,000 over the Pacers. Heat minus 2,500 over the 76ers. Magic and the Hawks could be an interesting one, with the Magic minus 600 in that one. And again, those complete future odds and more at offshoreinsiders.com, as well as the odds to win it all, the Indiana Pacers and the New Orleans Hornets. And this kind of explains the opening round odds as well. They are the biggest long shots at plus 20,000. Now, what are the best teams? A lot of you have probably heard of the NBA zigzag theory. It's been debated ad nauseum. Basically, what it says is bet on a playoff team that is coming off a straight-up loss to bounce back. We've discussed that in articles we've written. Maybe we'll do a podcast somewhere along the line and a video on that. But let's take a look at, in 2011, the best teams off of a straight-up win, a straight-up loss, and the best teams to fade under those circumstances. First of all, the best bounce-back teams, zigzag teams, so to speak, off of a loss. Chicago is 14-5 to the number at plus 6.1 margin of cover. Again, that is much like the margin of victory, but it is how much a team does or doesn't cover by. So that kind of measures the reliability of a deceptive trend. And I know that Chad Millman of ESPN has kind of renamed it the sweat meter, but Sharpies have been calling it the margin of cover for years. Boston is next at 16-10, but only plus 2.6, while the Sixers are 24-15, but plus 4.1. And again, the complete list is at joeduffy.net. Now, the best teams to bet against off of a straight-up loss, the Heat. 7-16, minus 5.4, and they've been a streaky team, so you can understand that. Another team just like that, Dallas, again, maybe a little bit too up-tempo, 9-16, but those losses haven't been by much. The margin of cover is only minus 1.8, while the Lakers, another team to fade off a straight-up loss, minus 4.4. And again, not all that shocking, because everybody falsely assumes that a good team, they're going to get angry off of a loss, they're going to bounce back. And notice it's some of those teams that were entering the year, expected to be among the best, as opposed to Chicago, which has been a pleasant surprise team. Now, here are the best teams to bet against the spread off of a straight-up win. To bet on the Miami Heat at 33-24, plus 2.9. And Denver is plus 2.6 margin of cover. Now, the best teams to fade off of a straight-up win, well, not surprisingly, the four worst teams, Washington, Houston, Sacramento, and Utah, did not make the playoffs. But of the playoff teams, the teams that can enjoy prosperity, the Indiana Pacers and the Atlanta Hawks both have negative records. And Indiana minus 2.6 margin of cover, Atlanta minus 2.3. Again, for these charts and more, go to joeduffy.net. You want the best picks from the best handicappers throughout the NBA playoffs? We just had it, Bill Tanner, top NBA handicapper of all time, All that and more is at offshoreinsiders.com.